Good morning, gorgeous humans. Welcome to the morning show. I am your host, Marli Ansel, at Marli Ansel on the Instagrams, and this is the morning show where you come to get your daily dose of inspiration and up level into your highest beings. It's all about real life, but we make it magical. There is so much to talk about. Let's dive in. How are you feeling? Happy February 15th. What do we celebrate on the 15th? The day after Love Day. All right, my loves. So today we're going to dive into a really fun, juicy subject. We're going to be talking about how to work all things in your favor. Yes, there is a way. Yes, there is always an opportunity for things to work in our favor, even when stuff seems bleak, even when stuff seems dark. There is always a way to leverage the momentum. So we're going to dive into that today. But first, let's talk about the cosmos because there is some big, big energy happening. I slightly mentioned it yesterday. Chiron is conjunct the North Node. Now, here is what this means for you. So, Chiron is our core wound. In your chart, if you find the symbol that looks like a key, you are going to locate the area in which your core wound exists. When I say core wound means the area of life that you feel that insecurity in. It's the part where you feel unsure. It is the energy that you are going to have to look into to heal. But as you'll notice, the Chiron glyph is a key. What you will find inside your core wound is the key to your power. It's the key to the unlocking. So right now, Chiron and the North Node, which is your karmic destiny, big words of the day, it's your karmic destiny, they are conjunct. So what this is doing for you personally is it is highlighting to you what part of yourself you need to see. Because it is in the sign of Aries, Aries is all about the self. The self, meaning my ego self, not my higher self. God bless, we love the higher self, but we're talking about the part of us that actually holds wounds, the part of us that has insecurities, the part of us that might have some confidence issues. So what's being highlighted to you right now is a place you're not owning your power, a place that maybe you have been feeling victimized, a place that you have been giving your power to something or someone else. And there's two polarities of energy that you can go with here. One is recommended, the other is not. The high end of the polarity is ownership over what this energy is showing you. So you might have something in your life that's popping up right now that you may not like. It may be highlighting to you some part of yourself that feels like fear, that feels like insecurity, that feels like you don't know if you can handle it. That is with purpose. So I want you to know this right now. Whatever is front facing for you in this moment in time that feels as though it's bigger than you, it is there on purpose to show you you. And your job in this is to own it. And with that, own your power over it, which is what we're going to talk about today and how to work it all so that it works in your favor. Now, the lower energy of this is feeling victimized. Both are an option. I don't recommend the victimized energy because you can't do much with that. So the higher is I'm going to own it. I take ownership of my power. I take ownership over my life. It is all here for me in some way. And I'm going to give you the tools that you need today in order to be able to do that. And then the lower energy of it is feeling victimized to it, feeling like there's something outside of you that is forcing you into situations that you don't want to be in, feeling as though you don't have power to change what is happening in front of you. I don't recommend this side of things because when you get into the victimized energy, it feels very hopeless. It feels very daunting. It feels much bigger than you, and it is not very much fun. Good morning, Amber. Amber said, I feel like something pops up every ding dong day. It's exhausting to open up the idea of healing through it all. So what I would say to that is that it is probably not healing through it all. It is probably one thing that is constantly reoccurring, meaning one thing at the core that is constantly reoccurring in different scenarios. So if you took it all the way down the layers, you would probably find one thing that it is always trying to show you. In my experience, it has always been, and I don't know that this is true for everyone, but it feels like it might be. In my experience, it has always been showing you that you have dominion over yourself, showing you that you have power over how you perceive, over how you feel, and over how you move. And that is enough for us to leverage everything that is in our existence to move in the way that we want it to move. So we may not like things that happen all the time. Life is going to life. You know what I mean? Like life is going to life. Life's going to throw you some shit sometimes. And it's your job to then decide, who are you going to be in the face of it? How am I going to work with what life has given me here? And what direction do I want to take it? And granted, I do completely understand that it's almost like a muscle that's built. You know, it's a muscle that's built over time because we're not necessarily taught that we have dominion, especially not taught that we have dominion over our world. But you can get behind, I have dominion over myself. You know what I mean? Like, I have dominion over me. I have dominion over how I feel. I have dominion over how I think. I have dominion over what I do. And it's enough. And so when you really start owning that, I think you'll come to see that all the situations in life that have felt challenging or overwhelming have all been trying to show you your own power. I wrote something down the other day that said, power is ignited when unwanted limitation is met. Oh, Lord, some of the things that come through me. Power is ignited when unwanted limitation is met. That's like, you know, when you pray for strength and then God gives you something that you have to be strong for. And you're like, that's not what I meant. That's not what I meant, God. It's the same thing. You know what I mean? We say, I want to know my power. Well, then the universe and God's going to show you a limitation. It's going to show you a limitation that you do, in fact, have power over, but you think you don't. And so you have to find it. Amen. So Chiron conjunct North Node is surfacing up something for you that is directly correlated and related to your core wound around yourself. So whatever that means for you, for me, it's always been about power. It's always been about owning your power because you can feel how much potential, capability, dominion you have and not own it. You know what I mean? You could know your potentiality and not ever fully reach it. You could know what you're capable of, but not ever test it out. And so there's this gap that's asking to be closed because without closing that gap, you never actually get to truly know who you are. And that's just something I can't have. I gotta know. I want to take it as far as it can go. I want to see what I'm wholly capable of. I have in my mind what I think I'm capable of, but I don't know until I walk it out. You know what I mean? So if you have your chart, take a look, see where the Aries energy is for you, because that's the house in which this energy is showing up for you. You would have to Google it. So we can't do a whole astrology lesson today, but each house represents a different area of your life. So an example, if you had Aries in the first house and Chiron conjunct North Node is happening in your first house, it's a double whammy on you need to look at yourself because the first house is all about the self. If it's in your second house, you need to look at your core money wounds because the second house is all about money, values, possessions, material things. So you're being shown somewhere that you're not owning your power over money. Third house, communication. Fourth house, home and family. Fifth house, creativity, children, play, entrepreneurship. Sixth house, work and service, daily routines. Seventh house, relationships. Eighth house, death and rebirth, the occult, things like psychic energy, the magic. Also, other people's money falls into the eighth house. Very strange. Ninth house is higher knowledge, international travel. So the abroad, outside of yourself, outside of the self. 10th house is your career, which is an interesting one. And then the 12th house is your subconscious mind, the unseen. So wherever this Chiron North Node falls for you, this is what's being highlighted. We've got to work with the energy that's here because all of it is, especially when we're being shown our wounds, it's preparation energy. It's like you need to see this because you can't get where you want to go if you don't see it. You see what I'm saying? So pay attention. You have a choice. You can own it and be empowered by it and learn from it, or you can fall victim to it and whine about it. I'd be like, why I messed up. Don't do that. Don't do that. It's not helpful. Not a helpful vibe. So, yesterday, this came up in a big way. Two reasons. One, I did an entire live inside the Reclaim Yourself program on this energy, explaining what it is. And it essentially is a portal. It's a portal to a new chapter, it's a crossroads because the North Node moves retrograde and Chiron moves direct. Now it is moving direct. And so they're crossing each other. So it is a crossroads where you have to choose what it is that you're going to step into. So it's really big energy. And soon after that, I had a client call with a private client who was deep in some fear. Her Chiron conjunct North Node is a direct conjunction on her Chiron. So Chiron North Node on her core wound, like, ooh, you got to start a whole new chapter here, right? And so she was really deep in feeling the fear of things. She had some big stuff surfacing up. And we had a whole conversation around fear energy. And this is what I want to bring to you all today in our main subject of what we're talking about with how to work everything in your favor. She was feeling all of the feels. And we know fear is a big energy. Like when fear comes, it is like turbo fuel. You know what I mean? It's this huge wave, like, and you can feel very overtaken by it. But fear is not actual truth. Ever, ever, ever. It's love or fear. Two ends of the same stick. And you're either hanging out on the love side, which is truth, soul, this is all that is, or you're hanging out in the fear side, which is non-truth, scarcity, lack, all of these things that are of the ego. So she was over here on this side. And the thing about it is that when you get caught caught up in fear, I put cinnamon and herbs in my coffee. Sometimes they get me. So whenever you get caught up in fear, fear tends to gain momentum really, really quickly. And it will start to manifest stories in your mind of worst case scenarios. So when you're in a fear wave, your mind is really going to run if you allow it. And it's going to pick up momentum of the things that you don't want, the worst case scenarios possible. And you're going to start to really believe that those are true because fear is such a big energy. But the moment that you come into faith, the moment that you come into, I trust all things are working in my favor. I trust that where I'm headed is going to be better than where I've been. I trust that a way is always made. I trust in my own capabilities. I trust in the source that supports me. The moment you come into faith, fear dissipates. How interesting. One cannot exist with the other simultaneously. So when we're in fear, fear picks up a lot of momentum. Because there's so much emotion with it, it shuts off our cognitive thinking mind. Like legitimately, you get dumber in fear. That's the most simplified way I could say that, but it's so true because you shut off the possibility of anything else happening. You're so focused on the worst case scenario, you're not thinking. You can't see things for what they actually are. You're only in the emotion of it. And this is proven on a biological level. When the fear rears up, our cognitive thinking mind of our ability to create something, to go in the direction that is better for us, is completely shut off because it's all about survival. So if you feel that fear wave, one, you've got to know you've left the realm of truth and nothing is going to help you out over here. Like Nothing, no worst case scenario that you sit there and try to plan and prepare for is going to make this better. You've got to take a breath. And you can always, whenever you're in fear, the best thing that you can do is to take 3 deliberate, deep breaths. Reason being, when you take deep breaths, it signals to the body we're safe. When you're in survival mode, when fear really rears up and you go into survival mode, you're in fight or flight. Fight or flight is literally preparing your body to have to fight for your life or run for your life. Not really ideal, right? Especially if we're just thinking about some made up potential scenario in the future and not actually in need of survival. So when you take 3 deep breaths, it signals your body that we don't need to fight or flight, and it will bring you back down to a calm place. That's number one, because you got to get your brain back online. You know what I mean? You got to get your connection to source, connection to truth, connection to abundance back online. And when we're in fear, it's like the access is cut off. So when you have these moments, become aware. I'm in fear right now. I'm making up a bunch of stuff that has not happened and is likely to not happen, but I'm thinking it's going to because I'm deep in fear. Take some breaths, come back to your center. Now, when things pop up for us that are not ideal, it is always to show us a part of ourselves. And I know that's not the answer we want to hear, but it is true. It's showing you a part of yourself that you have been running from. It's showing you a fear that you have been trying to outrun. So, in the example of, say, Chiron and N.Node is showing you that you are throwing your power to something outside of you. You're throwing your power to the norm society. If you don't have that norm core 6-figure corporate job, then you are a failure. And you are making it mean that about you. So then that becomes highlighted to you. Maybe you get blocked from getting the job that you want. Maybe you have this deep fear that you're never going to be successful. What's being shown to you in this moment? You are putting everything outside of you. You're valuing yourself based on what you can do in the world. You're putting your worth based in some made up system that says if you're not this, then you're not worthy. It's being shown to you. Where are you placing your power? Where are you placing your worth? What are you putting outside of yourself? Versus saying, I know who I am. I know the magic I hold in myself. I know that I'm capable. I know that I'm smart. I know that I'm strong. I know that I know how to handle most things that people can't. I know what my skill set is. I know what I bring to the table. I know how to create. I know how to manifest. I know how to walk this line and hold myself steady while everyone else might be freaking out. I know how to do this. Do you see what I'm saying? So the energy is going to be highlighted to you to show you you. And so if there's something popping up that's really invoking a lot of fear in you, you need to ask yourself these questions. Where am I not owning my power? Where am I putting my value, my worth, my power, my ownership outside of myself? Because it's only going to get louder. And that's just kind of the mechanism of the universe. If you don't learn the lesson at the intuitive level, it's going to go to the emotional level. You're going to start feeling things, anxiety, sadness, frustration, anger on a habitual basis. If you don't take a moment to come into self awareness to learn at that level, you're then going to manifest a situation into your physical reality that forces you to see it. And that's where a lot of people end up. No shame. Everybody gets there at one point or another until you learn. But when you're at that point where there's a physical manifestation in front of you, forcing you to see yourself, forcing you to level up in some way, the work is the same. It's the same. It's the same at every level. It's just what level of experience of life do you want to have? If you can learn it at the level of the intuitive, meaning like, oh, I feel something. I feel this nudge in my body. What is that? What was I just thinking about? What am I fearing right now? That's interesting. If you can learn it at that level, then you don't manifest it further. You see what I'm saying? So the more self-aware we can become, the more in power we are. That's why I teach what I teach. The more I can pay attention to what my body's communicating to me, the more that I become in control, of the way that my life journey goes. You're always in control. You just may not be owning your power of you being in control. So, say you have reached this point where you have manifested a physical situation that is not ideal. How do we leverage this to work it in our favor? Well, the work is the same. There's always a way. I want you to just say it out loud. There's always a way to my highest good. There's always a way to my highest good. It doesn't matter how dark it seems, it doesn't matter how bleak it seems. There's always a pathway. The light always exists, the light never ceases. You might turn away from the light. You might be hiding your head because you're hiding from yourself, but the light always exists. So there is always a way, and your job is to find that way. Whatever has shown up for you, whatever is popping up, whatever the challenges or the situation or however you're feeling, whatever that is, pop out of the human for a minute. Like, let's get out of that ego fear based situation and look at the whole and say, what is this situation trying to get me to do? What is it trying to get me to see? Where am I not owning my power? Where am I not owning my value? Where am I not owning my self worth? Where am I not utilizing my power? Maybe there's something you know that you should have already been doing that you're not doing, holding back out of fear or whatever it is. What is it trying to get you to see? Once you have the lesson of what it is that you need to see, you need to understand, you need to do, go do it. You own it, because as you own it, you're going to find yourself now walking the path of power. When you walk the path of power, all things start moving in your favor. But so long as you feel victimized to what's happening in your life, you have no power. You're the one doing it, which is the irony, because that's your power. But the moment you own it and you say, things move as I move, things shift as I shift, things come into play as I take action. Me. So, what do you want? Okay, say it's a bleak situation in front of you. Everything feels as though it's spiraling. Okay, cool. What is it that I need to understand in this? Well, I have ignored repeatedly a feeling inside of myself that was saying, you need to pay attention to this. This is not going to happen in the way that you want it to if you don't pay attention to this. If you get honest with yourself, yeah, okay. All right. I'm paying attention. I'm paying attention. I had to destroy my entire life to pay attention, but I'm no. But you see what I'm saying? So, okay, I'm paying attention. What is this showing me? Well, this is showing you that you've been putting your worth in your money. This is showing you that you've been putting your worth in your title. This is showing you that you haven't been valuing your gifts. You've been ignoring them. You've been stifling them. You haven't been properly utilizing what God gave you, whatever it is. But pay attention and then say, okay, I see that. Now what? Now you move in alignment with what it is that you now understand. If it's that you've been throwing your worth and your value out in something else around you, you've got to pull all of that back in. You've got to start working on knowing yourself. I know my value. I know my worth. And then if I know my value and I know my worth, then what would I do? Now that's a great question. If I was already super valuable, if I was already fully worthy, I had no need to prove myself whatsoever, then what would I do? And you fall in line, you move accordingly. Decide what you want with the situation at hand. All things are malleable, which this is what I think is the most fun in the whole world. All things are malleable. Everything can be moved. Nothing is set in stone. So no matter what it is that you are feeling is big or you don't know what to do, it can all move in your favor, and it can move in your favor easier than you think. Easier than you. Don't make it hard. Don't make it this big mountain of a thing. Make it no big deal. All things move as I move. No big deal. What do you want this situation to be? And as soon as you know what you want, not what you don't want, check, check, not what you don't want, what you do want. I want to create this. If it's something with money and a job, I want to create a job offer, a job opportunity where I am making X amount of money. I have the most incredible schedule. I work with the most incredible people. They value me and my skill set. They know that I have so much potential to grow this company. They give me my free will to be able to run my team as I run my team. I have unlimited vacation. Get clear on what you want and then ask yourself, okay, that's the way that I'm moving. What's the first step? And then go take the first step towards it. Own your power and move forward. Don't try to prevent things from happening because that's a loop, that's a spiral. Move forward towards what it is that you want to create. All this energy that you feel, even if it's overwhelm energy because you've been in fear, use the energy. Shift the momentum of it. You can't always stop momentum. Like think about this like a train. If a train is going 70 miles per hour one way, are you stopping that train? No, right? You cannot stand in front of that train and stop that momentum. And this is why we feel so overwhelmed sometimes when things start happening. You can't stop it, but you can shift the tracks and move that momentum in a direction that you want it to go. Work smarter, not harder, amen. So you shift the momentum in a new direction. Don't try to stop it. Shift the momentum in a new direction. Use all of that big energy to go towards something that you want to create. Play with it. Stop taking everything so seriously. Play with it. I know life can seem really, really daunting sometimes. I have been there in some situations that I wish I never had to experience. But I am on the other side of it here to tell you, you don't die. It's okay. You're going to get through it. Own your power, shift the momentum. Think about it like, those movies where people are in like paragliders and they jump off of the mountain. They're like, and it looks bleak. We don't know what's going to happen. And then all of a sudden, and they shift the direction with the momentum of the wind. This is no different than you in life. So leverage the momentum. Amen. All right, my loves. Thank you for being here live with me today. I hope that this was helpful for you. If this resonated with you, please share the show. Share it with at least one person that you think that this would help, that it would really resonate with. It helps us to grow our impact and grow the channel. If you have not already, subscribe please to the YouTube channel. Hit the likes. If you are on Instagram, thank you so much for being here. And if you would like to come over to YouTube and watch it on live YouTube, you can come over and search Marli Ansell on YouTube. All right, we have three main things. Main thing number one, Chiron is conjunct the North Node. Your two choices here, you're going to own it and be empowered over what's happening, or you're going to fall victimized to it. Only one gets you where you want to go. Okay, so just own it. Own it. Number two, when fear comes in, it comes in really, really big waves, but it's not lasting and it's not truth. And fear cannot exist at the same time that faith can. So when you feel yourself in fear, take 3 deep breaths, signal to your body biologically that you are safe, and then activate your faith. Lean on those principles of truth that you know through and through, your foundations of life. And then number 3, you're going to own your power. Own your power over your entire life. When I start giving my power away to things, I'm going to find myself one lost puppy. You need to pull back in all of the power. You're the one who decides the direction. You're the one that decides which way the momentum goes. So even when it feels like there's a lot of momentum going in a direction that you don't want, shift the tracks. Leverage the momentum to a new direction. You have this power. All right, my loves. I love you so much. Thank you for being here live. And I will see you tomorrow for another episode of The Morning Show. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Oh, let me say this one last thing, because we have a 1-day sale happening right now on the Magnetic Attraction Program. This Magnetic Attraction Program is all on healing the feminine energy to rise in your confidence, your power, and your magnetism. If that is something that you have been interested in, building that feminine creation energy in you, not relying so much on that masculine, proving, hustling energy that the societal norm teaches us. The program is 50% off right now. You can check out the link in my bio, Magnetic Attraction, and enter code LOVE50. It is 50% off through today only. So if that interests you, go check it out. I love you so much. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Goodbye, my love.